traffic, sports, and morning show funnies. The talk of the Treasure Coast. 1590 WPSL.
Answering machines. Starting with these people who think it's cute to let their children record the outgoing message. You know? And you can't understand a word of it because the kid's a f***ing imbecile.
Hi, my name is Stacy. I'm 5 years old. My mommy and daddy aren't home.
Here's my message, Stacy. I'm coming over to your house with a big knife. And I'm gonna kill mommy and daddy. Oh, and folks, on these answering machines, do me a favor, would you please? When you record your outgoing message, don't bother telling me you can't come to the phone. I understand that. Apparently, that's why we have these machines. And don't tell me to leave my name and number. Somehow, I figured that out. And if you work in an office, never mind that stuff, I'm away from my desk. If you had to take a say so.
There's a reason I think Trump didn't do well. I'm not sure, and I'm not trying to start rumors. But Trump was sniffing a lot in this debate. And someone needs to look into that.
Perhaps we'll be talking about that later. Hundreds of companies are doing this. Our country's in deep trouble. I want you to be very happy.
Trump sounded like he was fighting off a cold with cocaine.
We have to renegotiate our trade deals, unless you're Mexico.
He sounded like the coked-up best man in the bathroom at a wedding. No. You guys, I got it. I know we can fix the entire economy. Let's all go in together. Let's buy a boat. Yeah.
Is this Eric Clapton? You don't like. 1590 WPSL, the morning show, G and Paul. Cocaine. All right, I'm not trying to start nothing here.
Not much.
8:13 now. I heard it too last night. I'm like, well, what is all that?
I watched it. I guess.
I picked up on it right away.
Was it? Well.
Yeah, he was doing it a lot. I mean, I didn't think the cocaine thing at all. I just thought, cold or something.
Sure,
but Paul, we're not the only ones that have technical difficulties.
Really?
Dancing with the Stars last night started out very poorly. Here, they had audio problems. Listen to this.
After the show, tomorrow another couple will be eliminated. For tonight, they've been divided into pairs who'll face off against each other for judges' scores. The winners of each face-off will get immunity, meaning they cannot be eliminated.
First, it started out with a static, like you heard. Then he started sounding like he was on the phone.
Award-winning singers. Here's how Jana Kramer and Gleb and Kenny Babyface Edmonds and Allison trained for a face-off.
Wow, and that's network TV, man.
And their audience is a little bigger than ours.
Well, yeah, just a little bit. Paul, good story here.
Okay.
Guy in New Zealand in line at a convenience store last week to buy a lottery ticket when another person cut in line and bought their ticket first.
And the other guy won.
The guy wasn't in a hurry, Paul, so he didn't complain. He didn't try to beat the dude up or anything. Then he bought his ticket, and you nailed it. He won the jackpot, $750,000.
Right. Good on him. See, it just proves that if you be a good guy, you'll pay off.
And he says, quote, I guess good karma pays off. If it hadn't happened, they might have the winning ticket, not me. So good things do happen to good people. Make no mistake about it.
Good morning. It's 8:15, 73 degrees. Time for news from 1590 WPSL, the talk of the Treasure Coast. A Port St. Lucie woman was sentenced to 15 years in prison after a fatal hit-and-run crash that killed a teenage student. 48-year-old Yvette Nieves Barsulia is accused of hitting 18-year-old Diana Gill the morning of April 7th, 2014. Gill was walking to her bus stop at Lucero Drive. Nieves Barsulia claimed she didn't know she hit the girl, but acknowledged that she was responsible. The judge gave her the maximum sentence after the prosecution argued that Nieves Barsulia not only knew she hit the girl, but tried to cover it up by having the damage repaired. She'll also have 10 years probation following her term in prison. It may not feel much like fall, but it's a time of year to get the flu shot. Dr. Corey Repp with the Health Works USA in Florida says the vaccine is your best protection against the flu. It's not foolproof, though. Last year's shot was 63% effective against the flu. Dr. Rep says since the shot could protect against most serious strains, and if you get the flu, it'll be not quite as bad as people who don't. And gee, understand you're not a flu.
I've never
taker,
gotten
huh?
a flu shot. I've never gotten one, but I very seldom get that. I mean, where's some wood at?
There you go.
Come on.
Yeah, I hear you. A former Walgreens CEO and Stewart resident has passed away. Charles Walgreen III died Monday at the age of 80. Walgreen became CEO of the company in 1971. Shortly thereafter, he toured Florida to look for opportunities to expand the company. In the process, he purchased a home in Stewart where he would become to relax and get away from the corporate life. Walgreen maintained his home in Stewart for decades, becoming a member of the Sailfish Point Golf Club and a donor at the Lyric Theater. He's survived by his wife and 8 children. And gas prices have fallen a couple of pennies to a statewide average now of $2.13. How low can it go? Well, AAA Florida spokesman Mark Jenkins says even if gas prices stay right where they are still more than $1 lower than we were paying 2 years ago when the pump prices exceeded $3 a gallon. A tiny gator is back in more natural surroundings. A woman in Booker Park neighborhood called for help after spotting the critter on her porch. Deputy Hickman with the Martin County Sheriff's Office got the call. He picked up the gator and moved the creature to a nearby lake where hopefully it will stay. And that's your news update for the time being. We'll be back with your traffic in just a moment. Let's check those highways now, G. Well, the Florida Highway Patrol website tells us there's no accidents right now in our broadcast area. However, if you see something out there driving when you're avoiding those school buses, please give us a call, 340-1590.
You're hearing the morning show, Talk of the Treasure Coast, 1590 WPSL. Going to have the time of your life, I promise.
If you weren't with us last hour, we've determined that I got to take that off.
The only human in the
Granny
forest.
Goodwitch from the
I heard that.
post Super Sugar Crisp commercials
After my Sugar Crisp again.
was voiced by. Oh, now I forgot who it was voiced by.
The guy or the
Ruth
girl?
Buzzy.
Ruth Buzzy, yeah.
Ruth Buzzy. And Sugar Crisp himself was voiced by some guy that sounded like Dean Martin. Does sound like Dean Martin.
Strongest beer I've ever known.
We asked Cliff off mic
Sugar Crisp.
what was his favorite cereal, and he said
Oatmeal with bananas.
and some other fruit. He likes his very thick. And you asked him, did he like it thick or something?
I like mine thick. He likes his thin.
A guy, MrBreakfast.com, and I've never even heard of it. According to MrBreakfast.com, the best 5 cereals of all time. And we're going to start with number 10. Wheat Chex was number 10 on this list, and I like me some Wheat Chex and Rice Chex. The Corn Chex I don't like that much, and you only like the Wheat Chex.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, Puffa Rice, it's so nice they gave it 2 Puffas. They were sort of like Rice Krispies covered in honey or brown sugar, also discontinued in the 70s. Very light. I mean, the box would float away if you didn't tie it down with something. Rice Crinkles.
No.
And you don't remember Rice Crinkles?
No, I do not.
Those were Rice Krispies that had a sugary coating over them. I remember Rice Crinkles. I liked them, but we don't, and we both agree on this. I don't remember a cereal called Concentrate.
Never. And it's a high one.
It's number 7.
That's crazy.
It was made of little nuggets marketed as being concentrated nutrients.
See, I don't know about you. When I go to a survey like that and I see something that just makes no sense at all, I just throw the survey away because it can't be correct. You're reading gobbledygook there.
But then they got Wheaties on the list, and we agree with that.
That'd be right.
I mean, we like us some Wheaties. Captain Crunch is on the list at number 5. Honey Nut Cheerios, but in the top 10, there's not cornflakes.
Yeah, see.
I mean, Jethro Bodine would be, and he's the one that's still alive, right? You mentioned that yesterday of the Beverly Hillbillies. Max Baer is the only one that's still with us.
Max is still. I think Max was gone.
I think he's the only one left, and Ellie Mae's gone. Granny is gone.
Yeah. Well,
is
Granny.
Jed Clampett.
I gotta believe he's gone as well. Jed was an old dude when they did that thing originally.
Who did he play? Barnaby Jones. He was.
He did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jed Clampett. Honey Nut Cheerios, number 4. Number 3 on the list, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Number 2 is Frosted Flakes, and those things really are great. Tony the Tiger. I mean, those. And the number 1 cereal, and I never heard of this cereal. I don't know where I was. Quisp. It's Quisp. It was discontinued in the late 70s, but brought back in 2012. And those are your 10 greatest breakfast cereals, according to MrBreakfast.com. who don't know diddly. All right, Randall, thanks. 8:27 now. We've got a call. Good morning. You're on the radio. Hey there.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. I was listening to your survey there, and I didn't hear Sugar Pops mentioned in the top 10.
You know what? I can't imagine that not being in the top 10. Paul, you liked Sugar Pops, didn't you?
I have some home right now.
Yeah, now of course they took the name sugar out of them now. Now they're just Corn Pops.
Oh, that was so cool when those puffed rice. I mean, you put them in the bowl, you put milk. Next thing you know, your cereal's on the table. When you got a bowl of milk.
Yeah, I remember that. Puffed rice, they were so light, Paul. They float out of the bowl. You put milk. As soon as you poured the milk in, the puffed rice would go all over the place.
And the thing is, though, if you made it so far as to eat them, it was like, I don't know, like cardboard and milk. It was just nothing to it.
Did you put sugar on yours?
No, I wasn't sugar.
Because they weren't sweet, you know. I mean, the puffed rice turned into Sugar Crisp, right? Pretty much, or Sugar Smacks. Sugar Smacks.
Sugar Smacks, yeah, because puffed rice was just puffed rice. So a little white looked like, yeah. I don't get that. I don't get that. But no Sugar Pops. I'm shocked.
So is that your favorite cereal of all time? Is that why you?
Oh yeah. If I'm in the store and like I'll say, hey, yeah, that's my treat. Sometimes every now and then, nice bowl of cereal any time of day and night. And Sugar Pops will do it.
Do you know that cereal, if you take it by the weight, costs more than a T-bone steak?
I believe it.
Absolutely
does. Settling.
Much more.
Not if you get it at Walmart.
Well, it's about $4 for a box, man. And
you're right.
Where do you get it? Less than a pound?
That's why you got to go. You got to get the BOGOs. When Cocoa Puffs go buy
hey,
one,
BOGO,
get one, you got to get it.
BOGO means just getting old, man. You got to get rid of two of them.
Hey, Chuck, thanks for your call, man.
You're welcome, guys. Have a good one.
Now, you know that's not true all the time, Paul.
I know.
And I'd look at them, but hey, it works for me with mayonnaise. You know how much mayonnaise I've thrown away by buy one, get one? Because it'll stay in my cupboard for a year.
Sure.
Dude, I'm the worst at that. I've got stuff that is outdated. I'm the worst at it. And I'll try it. If it don't make me sick, I'll eat it.
You look at the date, don't you? The date
I
expires.
do.
Yeah, but you just don't
That's like that Budweiser born on date, right? 8:29 now. Wow, it's 8:29?
Yes, it is.
Okay, some random facts for your Tuesday. Alanis Morissette gets credit for in the Oxford English Dictionary for creating the phrase "friends with benefits." She used it in the lyrics of her song "Head Over Feet." Steely Dan got their name, from a sex toy mentioned in the book Naked Lunch by William S. Burroughs. That's one of your favorite groups, Steely Dan.
Yeah, it is.
And Ronald Reagan was going to pick Gerald Ford as his running mate in 1980, but Ford refused to just be vice president. He wanted him and Reagan to be co-presidents. Reagan considered it, but went with George H.W. Bush instead. I didn't even know you could be co-presidents. It's 8:30. We'll pause for your Florida News Network. Then more of the Morning Show with G and Paul.
It's time now for the Gold and Silver Report. Looking at gold right now, that's down 0.47%, coming in at $1335.40. And silver's down 0.77%, that's $19.47. And for all your precious metal inquiries, it's St. Lucie Jewelry and Coins, trading in gold and silver and bullion and all U.S. coins since 1994.
You're hearing the morning show, Talk of the Treasure Coast, 1590 WPSL. Going to have the time of your life, I promise you.
Absolutely. And good morning once again. We are happy now to have on the phone with us Dan Martinelli, who's the Executive Director of the Treasure Coast Wildlife Center. Good morning, Dan. How are you today?
Good morning, everyone. I am quite well, thank you.
So what's new? What's happening down your neck of the woods?
Well, our wildlife hospital continues to serve sick, injured, and orphaned wild animals all day, every day. That's been what we've done for, since 1974 or thereabouts. We treat all native wild species, everything from songbirds to bald eagles, from bunny rabbits to bobcats and deer, and everything in between. And the goal of our efforts, of course, is to make those animals well enough to be returned to the wild where they belong. We see between 1,500 and 2,000 new patients every year, and so you can see that our wildlife care facility is a busy, busy place. But in addition to that, of course, the other mission is the providing of information to the public at large. People encounter wild animals in their everyday lives. They see something in the neighborhood or at the the golf course or at the beach, or they have some other reason to be interested in the interaction. They may be curious about development issues and what happens to animals and when or if they are displaced, questions about nests in trees and what can and cannot be done, and what to do when the mockingbird comes swooping down in their backyard. And all of those public information type situations are things that we also deal with every day. We are available to provide that information. We also do directed education. We do classroom programs and programs for clubs and for homeschool groups and for scout troops, for adult groups, for everything literally from nursery school to nursing home. We have appropriate programs for any situation like that. Our programs feature live native wild animals, and we do a natural history presentation. We teach people about what these animals are, things that live in our backyards or all around every day, what they are, how they survive in the wild, what they need in order to do that, and all that kind of information is available through us.
Say, Dan, recently we heard a story about some Burmese pythons getting into Palm Beach County. Any possibility they'll ever get this far north?
Yeah, it's quite possible. They do seem to be adapting, and they do seem to be able to take our weather, especially given that our winters have been quite mild. These animals are cold sensitive, but they are able to survive if they have a hiding place. They're able to survive brief experiences of low temperature, so it's not really all that big a surprise. This far north may be the extent of their ability to spread, but it may not. We're really not sure how cold tolerant these animals can be. So they can indeed perhaps expand their present range in southernmost Florida into other areas as well, and that would be a serious hardship for the natural environment.
Yeah, what we've been hearing is that they've been killing a lot of the local species down there. The ecosystem, it seems to me, will be upside down after a while if that continues. For example, besides gators, what else eats pythons?
Well, when they're small, lots of things will eat them. You know, they hatch from eggs that are about the size of large chicken eggs. They're 14, 16 inches long, and when they hatch, and that's a perfectly lovely size to be eaten by all kinds of things, everything from foxes and raccoons to bobcats to other, perhaps you might not have thought of it, predators like owls and hawks, and even things like great blue herons would find baby pythons to be a quite
delicacy.
Tasty lunch. So but, once they exceed 4 or 5 feet in size, which they can do within a year under very, very good feeding conditions, once they exceed that size, there are not that many predators left that could deal with them. So indeed, that is the problem.
So are you concerned basically about the ecosystem down there? I mean, you see a possibility of it being turned upside down?
Well, any non-native species that moves into an area causes problems. We're not always sure exactly what those problems are, and we're not really quite sure how to measure them. And this isn't just for animal species. We talk about those invasive exotics like the Burmese python, like the green iguana that is also all over southernmost Florida. Certainly everyone is familiar with Bufo marinus, the giant cane toad from Brazil. Everybody thinks of those as noxious, invasive, exotic species. But we have plants as well. We have cacheput tree, Melaleuca. We have Brazilian pepper, formerly known as Florida holly. These are also invasive, exotic species that have had effects on our native ecosystems. And there have been changes to our native ecosystems caused by all of those introductions. Whether there is going to be a catastrophic collapse is something that biologists suspect could happen, but have no way of predicting. Where is the tipping point? Where does it actually fall over the edge of the cliff and all come crashing down? Nobody's quite sure where that possibility is. and so we see additional introductions and additional noxious species with serious trepidation. We just don't know what it's going to mean. We have no way of predicting events like that because there's nothing to predict it from.
Well, Dan, always a great program and interesting information from you, something for us to ponder, obviously. And we'll continue the conversation next Tuesday about the same 8:40, roughly 8:40 in the morning and Tuesdays. Dan, thank you so much for this morning. Give us your phone number, and we'll move right along.
772-286-6200 or the World Wide Web at tcwild.org.
You got it, Dan. Thanks a million. We'll talk to you again next week. Good morning. It's 8:50. Time for the final newscast of the morning show. It's 75 degrees. A Port St. Lucie woman was sentenced to 15 years in prison after a fatal hit-and-run crash that killed a teenage girl. 48-year-old Yvette Nieves Barsulia is accused of hitting 18-year-old Diana Gill in the early morning hours of April 7, 2014. Gill was walking to her school bus on Lucerno Avenue. Nieves Barsulia claims she didn't know that she hit the girl, but she did acknowledge that she was responsible. The judge gave her the maximum sentence after the prosecution argued that Nieves Barsulia not only knew she hit the girl, but tried to cover it up. She'll have 10 years in prison, and then she'll have about 10 years of probation following the prison term. You know, it may not feel much like fall, but it's that time of the year to get a flu shot. Dr. Corey Repp with the U.S. Health Works in Florida says the vaccine is your best protection against the flu, but it's not for everybody, possibly. Last year's flu shot was 63% effective against the flu. Dr. Repp says that since the shot should protect against most serious strains, and if you get sick, you probably won't get, you'll get a mild strain of the flu, and that's worth considering. A former Walgreens CEO and Stewart resident has passed away. Charles Walgreen III died Monday at the age of 80. Walgreen became the CEO of the company in 1971. Shortly thereafter, he purchased a home in Stewart, Florida, where he would come to relax and get away from the corporate life. Walgreen maintained the home in Stewart for decades, becoming a member of the Sailfish Point Golf Club and a donor at the Lyric Theater. He's survived by his wife, Kathleen, and 8 children. And gas prices have fallen a couple of pennies to a statewide average now of $2.13. How low can they go? Well, AAA says, Mark Jenkins says, even if gas prices stay right where they are still more than $1 lower than we were paying 2 years ago when the pump prices were $3 a gallon. And that's your news for this morning. Let's check the traffic right now. It all appears fine in our broadcast area. If you see something out there, please give us a call. Our phone number is 340-5090.
Got an email, Paul.
Okay, let us hear it.
Ashley, 33, she says she's planning her wedding, and I'm already certain of one thing. I don't want any kids there.
Which means, you mean like little kids, teenagers?
Kids, little kids.
Okay.
I mean, and it starts out, can you tell people not to bring kids to your wedding? Of course you can.
Well, yeah, but they say, what?
But, Paul, I mean, the only 2 kids will be my fiance's nieces, who are the flower girls. Other than that, kids aren't allowed. They're messy, they're loud, they're picky eaters, and frankly, I want a quiet ceremony. Well, her question is there any way to politely tell people on the invitation that no kids are allowed? Would any parents be offended if they saw that? Well, sure. You know how people are. You can offend everybody.
Yeah,
you're going to offend somebody.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely right.
I mean, the decision to invite kids to a wedding is a hotly debated topic. No right or wrong, but ultimately it's up to the bride and groom. There's a subtle way, and the problem with the subtle way is just that. It's subtle, and then the risk is that some guests may assume that they and their kids are a package deal. Even though you address the wedding invitation to adults only, some people don't see it as that point. My thing is, I say get straight to the point, Paul. Get straight to the point. It's simple, direct. There will be no confusion. Somewhere on the invitation or RSVP card indicate that kids are not invited to the wedding. You can use any of the following. No children works. Adults only works. Strictly no children, please. Adult wedding and reception. Please respect our wishes for a child-free reception. Adult-only affair. This invitation is extended to adults only. People should be able to get that. And if it says that, don't bring your kids.
How about leave the nose pickers at home? Booze will be served.
Oh, Oh, I mean, it's an adult atmosphere. We don't, so that's my take on it.
My wedding.
Ashley, it's your wedding. If you don't want kids there, make it clear. I mean, just make it clear on the invitation that no children allowed in a nice way, and be done with it.
You've been to a lot of receptions. Are there kids sometimes there
Boy,
and
the
running
kids
around?
Are there?
Dancing out on the floor?
Sometimes they're out there dancing in the middle of dinner, especially the kids that the parents have no control on them.
Oh, yeah.
You know those ones.
Oh, yeah.
Those ones that you're in the store and that kid is crying and whatever. That parent said, lets them go and do their thing. They're all on the dance floor, got their white dress on and all dirty. And the parents like, isn't that cute?
Yeah.
It ain't cute. Sit down.
You're right. The kids today, man, I'm telling you.
Back in the day, Paul.
Okay, G. Well, 100 years ago in 1916, the first Native American Day was celebrated to honor American Indians. How quaint. 52 years ago in 1964, the Warren Commission report on the JFK assassination was released. It concluded there was no conspiracy in the assassination, domestic or international. So there, let it be. Okay.
Somebody wrote a song about that, didn't they? I think it was the Beatles. Sorry.
41 years ago, John Denver's song, I'm Sorry, hit number 1 in the pop singles chart.
And how his untimely demise,
he was flying I think it was one of those ultralight airplanes that he had built or he bought, and he ran out of gas or he fell asleep, whatever.
Well, wait a minute, who's the one that died in the skiing thing?
That was
Sonny Bono.
Was Sonny.
Oh, that's right. He's
from the Sonny and Cher show, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They say I love.
Yeah. Well, 41 years ago, and way back in 1975, Jaws by John Williams peaked number 32 on the song. Yeah.
You don't like my theme song?
I thought it was wonderful. Yeah. It says that Jaws is a very complicated musical note, by the way. Is that a D or a C sharp?
That's a C flat.
Oh, thank you so much. 30 years ago in 1986, the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Back to the School, the Beatles song Twist and Shout re-entered the charts and peaked at number 23.
Oh, come on, baby, come on, baby.
How are you at Garth Brooks? Well, 25 years ago, Garth Brooks' song Rodeo hit number 1.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that. No, is that who did Achy Breaky Heart, Cliff? Don't break my. Oh, that's Billy Joe.
Yeah.
Billy Cyrus. Billy Ray Cyrus. Yeah, Miley Cyrus.
And 20 years ago already, the Taliban drove the president of Afghanistan out of office and captured the city of Kabul, which was basically the beginning of their evil, iron-fisted regime.
Do you say Moscow or Moscow?
Moscow.
You say Moscow?
A little bit of cow.
Because there's no cows in Moscow.
Heifer there, yeah.
Okay.
In 1997, Cliff, Bob Dylan met the Pope. Dylan was handpicked by the Vatican to play a Roman Catholic youth rally in Italy because of his sincere religious beliefs. And G, way back in 94 when Harry met Sally, Harry Connick did It Just Had to Be You.
Oh, man, what a crooner this guy is. Check this out, folks.
It had to be you.
Thank you.
Thankfully.
That's it for us.
See you, G. Have a good day.
We're WPSL Port St. Lucie. Your CBS News is next, followed by Cliff and Swap Shop. Have a great day, man.
Somebody who